Trump is a chump, an anti-Trump rally by the Nation of Islam in front of Trump Towers in 1988. Wounded when a mine blew up his Jeep, an ambulance driver sobbed by the side of the road after learning that a friend was killed in the blast. Korea, 1950. Young lady looks at the camera while the men secure their baggage to their car. Migrants from Florida to New York in a stop in Shawboro, North Carolina, July of 1940. Students at Augustana College react to the not guilty verdict of O.J. Simpson's murder trial, October 3, 1995. Employees of Fred Alger Management pose for a group photo circa 2001. Located on the 93rd floor of One World Trade Center, North Tower, Fred Alger Management lost 35 employees in the 9/11 attacks. The CEO of America's largest mail-order retailer is hauled out of his office by the Army National Guard for refusing to negotiate with workers under the National War Labor Board, resulting in the company being seized entirely by the U.S. War Department. April 1944. British fascist Oswald Mosley on an attempted march through Manchester, 1962. Blackface by Eva Braun, wife of Adolf Hitler, 1937. Private First Class Helmut Schmuck, 19, a paratrooper of the 173rd Airborne Brigade, prepared for his first jump in combat, Vietnam, 1967. Photo caption: My mother in the early 1930s. She would be 100 years old today. Marie Azalee Hadel, the last Heidel to own Whitney Plantation, and one of her enslaved house girls. Gay activists carry a mile-long rainbow banner through New York City to mark the 25th anniversary of the Stonewall Riots, 1994. In 1971, community and civil rights activist Ann Atwater was forced to work alongside Ku Klux Klan leader C.P. Ellis in Durham, North Carolina. By the end of their 10-day meetings, Ellis renounced the Klan, tore up his membership card, and spent the rest of his life fighting for equality. 1865 portrait of Brigham Young, second president of the Church of Latter-day Saints, founder of Salt Lake City, and the first governor of Utah. Young had 57 children with 56 different wives. Photos of Titanic survivors. Lolo and Michelle reunited with their mother, 16th of May, 1912. Army priest in a camouflage cassock, Vietnam, 1968. A man holding a punt gun, an oversized shotgun once used for duck hunting. Capable of killing more than 50 birds in a single shot, it was outlawed in the late 1860s. King George V's 10-day royal hunting expedition in Nepal. Numerous tigers, rhinoceros, bears, leopards, deer, boar, porcupines, and birds were killed with a massive 12,000 crew in 1911. Hillary and Bill Clinton in the 70s. This is Dr. Katie Booman, the computer scientist behind the first ever image of a black hole. She developed the algorithm that turned telescopic data into the historic photo we see today. Rare photo of U.S. President Woodrow Wilson, in which his famously bad teeth can be seen, 1910s. Photograph entitled The Eyes of Hatred of Joseph Goebbels, when learning that the photographer taking his picture was Jewish, 1933. Moroccan Police Commissioner Mustafa Tabet hangs his head at his trial. With the protection of other cops, Tabet kidnapped, assaulted, and raped at least 518 women and girls, albeit he might have had 1,200 plus victims. It remains the worst police corruption scandal in the country, 1993. Robert De Niro with his father, 1946. Sailors. Saluting a war veteran, Leningrad, 1989. Typhoid Mary Mallon, quarantined for life on North Brother Island, New York City, 1915. Ainu girls started lip tattoos around age 7, enduring years of cut-and-soot ink with no anesthesia. It was painful, repetitive, expected before marriage. Japan banned it by 1871, nearly erasing the rite. A teenage boy giving flowers to Princess Diana with the help of his friends, 1989. A photo of the seemingly kind family man, Heinrich Himmler, with his family from his photo album, but he was a Nazi, 1936. Palestinian refugee camp, Jordan, 1969. Palestinian refugees in 1948. 2 American soldiers with a captured German anti-tank weapon, the Panzerschreck, during World War II. U.S. President Dwight Eisenhower meeting with civil rights leaders, including Martin Luther King Jr., after signing the 1960 Civil Rights Act into law. Young man says goodbye to his grandmother as he goes to war, circa 1917. WWI. For almost 70 years, the young girl in this post-war photograph was unidentified. Research traced her identity to Teresa Adwentowska from Warsaw, who was severely affected by wartime trauma. In a residence for disturbed children, she drew a picture of home on the blackboard, 1948. Military women have a beer in their free time, 1947, San Diego, California. Photo of total solar eclipse on July 11, 1991, Chiapas, Mexico. Woman demanding the right to vote, arrested, 1914. A mugshot of John Spears, leader of the Green Corn Rebellion. In 1917, he and a small multiracial army of 800 to 1,000 socialist-aligned Oklahoma farmers rebelled against Woodrow Wilson. They planned a march on D.C., overthrow the government, and end U.S. involvement in the Great War. Oldest photo, 1826. Palestinian Christian family, Bethlehem, Palestine, 1889. Children in an iron lung before the polio vaccine, 1950. Chilean dictator Augusto Pinochet seated next to Imelda Marcos, wife of Filipino dictator Ferdinand Marcos, at the funeral of Spanish dictator Francisco Franco, 1975. German soldiers testing the strength of the gallows before executing suspected Soviet partisans, 1941. Linda Carter after her win the title of Miss USA, 1972, before she became Wonder Woman. Photo related to HIV awareness by the CDC Historical Archives that was removed by Trump. Serbian mobster, warlord, and paramilitary commander Željko Ražnatović, aka Arkan, holding a baby tiger, 1991. Ražnatović's unit, the Serb Volunteer Guard, was notorious for its war crimes, and he was one of the most feared men in Serbia. He escaped from jail twice and was assassinated in 2000. Mixed family smile for a self-shot. Looks like one of the two is holding the camera with their little baby, England, 1940s. Rare photograph of Marilyn Monroe without makeup, 1955. Randy Weaver, target of the Ruby Ridge siege, points to bullet holes in his cabin door during his testimony before the Senate Judiciary Subcommittee on September 6, 1995. His wife, Vicky, was killed after FBI sniper fire penetrated the door while she was holding her infant daughter. Portrait of Kauwats, a Caddo Native American, 1906. Paris, circa 1900. 1990s mugshot of Rafael Perez, corrupt Bloods-affiliated LAPD officer accused of crimes ranging from the shooting of gang member Javier Orlando to the theft of $800,000 in cocaine and the murder of rapper the Notorious Big. He inspired Denzel Washington's character in Training Day. Autochrome shot of a mother looking at her baby sleeping. No post-mortem photography, the baby is just sleeping, circa 1910. The first day of war. Soviet civilians in Moscow listened to the radio announcement that Germany has invaded the Soviet Union, 22nd June 1941. The original Ronald McDonald, 1963. World Trade Center employees look out of broken windows during the 1993 bombing. Maggie de la Riva points at two of the four young men, all of whom were from wealthy and influential families, who'd kidnapped and gang-raped her just 5 days earlier. Maggie extended her arm to show the bruises and asked one, "Do you remember these?" Quezon City, 1967. Ronald Reagan gets a visit from two people dressed up as a horse in 1989. Frederick Douglass posing with his grandson, Joseph, 1894. A 1940 prison photo of Cleo Wright. 2 years later, Wright was lynched. Wright was lynched after trying to rape a white woman and slashing her when he resisted, and later trying to murder a white police officer. A white mob dragged him from his cell to a black neighborhood and burned him alive in view of two church congregations. A couple dancing in a 1950s nightclub. East Berlin in the 1980s, a pure example of communist-era urban architecture and design. Photograph taken during Leonid Kulik's expedition, 1928, to the site of the Tunguska event, which occurred 20 years earlier on June 30th, 1908, likely an explosion caused by a mid-air burst of an asteroid, the most significant impact event in recorded history. The world's last commercial sailing ship, the Pamir, rounding Cape Horn, 1949. The body of Dom Pedro II, the last emperor of Brazil, who died in exile 2 years after being overthrown, 1891. Pedro's reign lasted for almost 6 decades, beginning when he was only 6 years old. He was a leading intellectual of his time, regarded by some as a savant, and spoke 14 languages. 80 years ago, members of the White House press corps rushed to telephones after Truman announced Japan's surrender. August 14th, 1945. 50s tourists around the pool in Las Vegas with nuclear bomb testing in the distance. In 1989, Ronald and Doreen Jack, along with their 2 sons, vanished after Ronald accepted a logging job from a stranger in Prince George, BC. A final call said they'd arrived safely, then silence. No trace of the family or their truck was ever found, one of Canada's enduring mysteries. In 1944, Joe Medicine Crow led a 7-man squad on a night raid in Nazi-occupied France. He ran into a German soldier in the dark, disarming him and taking him prisoner. He then rustled 50 horses from a SS camp. Completing these sacred tasks, Medicine Crow became the last war chief of the Crow tribe. 1880s Fiji man with his whale-tooth necklace. 1971. Cheryl Bone became the first African-American contestant in Miss America pageant. Did cannibals really eat Michael Rockefeller? Bill Clinton receives the news of the assassination of Yitzhak Rabin. A Polish resistance fighter checks her hair after a German air raid during the Warsaw Uprising, September 1944. Beautiful Apache Mom in Baby Montana, 1908. Nuns keeping their eyes fixed on a fashionable woman, 1960s. Sophia Loren, stunning photos of a timeless Italian beauty. 1974, dedicated policeman guarding a pharmacy during a flood in Galt, Ontario. Victorious British soldiers of the 137th Staffordshire Brigade of the 46th Division resting after the Battle of Saint-Quentin Canal, northern France, September 29, 1918. 1907, Stoney First Nation, Beaver Clan family. Dramatic photo captures rare. Site of 65-foot-tall lava dome in Hawaii. Mary Wallace becomes the first female public transit authority driver in Chicago, 1974. Thank you for watching this video until the end. I hope these photos impressed you. Some may have made you angry, brought a smile, made you happy, or perhaps even caused some negativity. Feel free to leave your comments and stay tuned for the next part. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Bye.